Good afternoon, all. I'm Andreia. I'm a conservator as well as archaeologist. With me is the cultural manager, Nuno Costa, and we are here to share with you the work developed by our association, Neptune Search Association. And as we believe that in presentations about communities it's important to address their locations and their origins, we will start with a quick presentation on these features.
Good afternoon. I'm going to read, if you don't mind, and this will be a little bit like a small chapter from History Channel. So, Lagos is in Portugal's southwest region, near Large Bay, bounded by the Messafrim River and the Alvor Stream. The bay has a very minor sandy slope, ideal for anchoring large ships. Until the middle of the last century, the Messafrim, which now is a stream, was a river that provided easy inland access. To the south of Lagos rises the Cape of Ponta de Piedade. This cape is made of high limestone cliffs and over time has offered protection from the northern winds to fishing activities as well as a key location for spotting threats or installed artillery defenses. Information about Lagos is transmitted to us through the reports of ancient Greeks and Roman authors, which sometimes causes conflicts with interpretation of archaeological records. According to the Portuguese archaeological records, between the 6th and the 5th century BC, the Celts built several fortified cities in the Portugal area, one of which was probably Lacóbria. The toponymic information points to the highlighted location, but no one has yet found the ancient city of Lacóbria. According to Pliny the Elder and other antique historians, Lacóbria was first used as a port by Phoenicians, Greeks, and Carthaginians. Their ships used to trade along the south coast of Spain and Portugal. The classic writings also reveal to us that in 250 BC, the oldest Celtic settlement was destroyed by an earthquake, something that occurs a lot in Lagos, and the new settlement was rebuilt in the current location of Lagos, the arrow number 3. In 76 AD, Lagos was taken by the Roman troops, and by reoccupying the previous infrastructures and building new ones, the Romans included Lagos in their complex commercial trade routes. Many of these archaeological sites are located outside of the current city, which indicates a wider occupation of the territory. With the fall of the Western Roman Empire, the city was occupied by Visigoths and later by Byzantines, but they left no relevant traces in the city. After them, between the beginning of the 8th century and 1249, the region was occupied by Muslims and the city renamed Alak al-Zawaya. Despite improvements in the city defensive walls and the new Arab urban structure that we can still see today, Lagos was reduced to a small fishing village. By the 15th century, fate brought these two national heroes together in Lagos, Prince Henrique and the local navigator Gillianos. The ambitious Prince Henrique, who moved to Lagos after the conquest of Ceuta in North Africa, gathered cartographers, cosmographers, and navigators with the intent of assessing the riches in sub-Saharan Africa. By his command, in 1434, after 15 attempts, Gillianos conquers the Cape Bouchadou, and this success in nautical history grants to Prince Henrique the name of Henry the Navigator. Before the end of the 15th century, Portugal was already dividing the world with the Crown of Castile, and Lagos was now playing a significant role in the first real globalization, due to its location and good nautical conditions. The number of furrow maps generated over time demonstrates Lagos relevance. As everything comes to an end, in the 1st of November of 1755, an earthquake, destroyed the city and its surroundings. Due to it being a public holiday and being very cold, many houses had their fireplaces lit, which immediately caused many fires. Minutes later, a massive wave hit Lagos, resulting in more chaos, with the destruction of all the houses in the lower areas, killing livestock and destroying almost all of Lagos vessels and port infrastructures. Economic and social prosperity came once again in the late 19th century with the establishment of the canning industry that thrived due to good fishing conditions and the demand for canned fish before and during the two world wars. The city capitalized on this demand, sometimes directly supplying fleets traveling in and out of the Mediterranean, like in this picture from 1905, showing the British Mediterranean fleet in the Bay of Lagos.
I'm not that quickly. I'm not that fast. This entire past, rich in constant contact with different cultures and regions, left a mark on the landscape that characterized human activity. Most recently, especially from the 70s onwards, the tourism industry brought new transformations to the city that has not forgotten its past and its heritage, and at least this happens on land. But a discussion of Lagos UCH wouldn't be complete without including the Center of Maritime and Archaeological Studies of Lagos, SMAL. To find proof of the city maritime past, this amateur archaeologist set out to explore the sea. After some discoveries in the middle 80s, the National Archaeology Museum sent a group of qualified archaeologists to Lagos. From this partnership, in 1992, resulted the first national underwater archaeological itinerary, a route around the ocean, the 18th century shipwreck. Unfortunately, before the year 2000, small underwater activities stopped. They were expelled from their headquarters by the city council, and the new law of archaeological works restricted amateur interventions. In between 2006 and 2015, archaeologist Tiago Fraga led to a research project in the seas of Lagos, resulting in the discovery of 90% of the underwater archaeological sites known as today. This includes 7 shipwrecks from the 18th to 20th centuries, more than 150 iron stone anchors, and several remains of different material sculptures, with a long diagram. Here we brought you some artifacts discovered by SMAL and by the archaeologist Tiago Fraga. And as you can see in the right bottom, there is a list of reported ships that went missing near Lagos, starting in the 16th century.
To many cultural heritage professionals, it is evident that Portugal lacks public policies to protect and raise awareness about underwater cultural heritage. Lagos UCH had no monitoring between 2015 and 2022, and all the data indicates that the maritime space is being more used by recreational boats and divers. The laws prohibit public knowledge of underwater archaeological sites, while nautical charts allow recreational boats to anchor on top.
In 2022, a group of 25 people founded the Neptune Search Association to address threats to Lagos UCH. We established a protocol with the General Directorate of Cultural Heritage to confirm artifacts' location, verify conservation issues and status, and propose mitigation measures. Unfortunately, the bureaucracy intervened somewhere in the chain of command, and our work was considered a kind of intrusive. So, for Stop the Tamper with the Archaeological Information, in October 2023, we were informally asked to stop diving and collecting the information. Nevertheless, we were already acting and addressing the school community. To increase awareness and knowledge of UCH, its history and the threats that it faces, we institute an annual open class. We also discuss the many forms of cultural heritage, the value of understanding our local history, and the primary occupations associated with cultural heritage. Our target audience is the 9th year students, since in this school year, students choose whether to continue their education with courses focused on active living or courses focus on pursuing higher education. So far, with these open classes, we have reached about 150 students. The success of this action is such a way that we were asked to accept interns in our association and assist them in developing their final coursework. We offer the same concepts of cultural heritage to the professional school in the nearby municipality, but with a focus on regional and national history, given that the students are older and have professional training targeted at the tourism sector. We exchanged the information about the goods that were brought into the European diet through the intercontinental interactions. In order to inspire the future new chefs, we also talk about the shipboard cuisine and Mary Rose recipes. These sessions also include a brief workshop on becoming an underwater archaeologist for a day. So far, we have reached about 60 finalists.
Because of our online exposure, during last year we were approached by a master's student in underwater archaeology from Cádiz University about how to prepare 2 small deck cannons found in a river near Lisbon and how to obtain the best possible analysis. In this case, we provided all the necessary logistical support and guidance from a senior conservator from our association. This student is now a master in underwater archaeology and is already our associate and is working in underwater heritage conservation projects. We approached the maritime authorities and met with the port's captain to expose Lagos UCH because they don't know what's under the water, they only care about what's on top, that's what they can find. We explained him the crucial role that the Port Authority can and should play in preserving the Lagos UCH. Also, we target the fishing community awareness. This has already resulted on them asking our intervention on an involuntary collection of a 19th century anchor. We took care of all the paperwork on the finder's behalf, giving him the public recognition in local and regional media. And we also gathered the physical data from the anchor, performed photogrammetry, and got the anchor ready to be sunk in a primary reserve. We are still waiting for the National Center of Archaeology to decide what to do with the anchor. Lastly, as we encourage recreational diving, we approach new divers about UCH with assistance of the We Dive Lagos Diving Center. Some of the new divers are students that we have previously met in the open sessions class. We provide advice on what to do and what not to do while visiting or unintentionally finding a submerged artifact, and this includes defining the concepts of triangulation, taking measurements, and how to collaborate with other divers while gathering basic information.
But the name of our presentation is Salty Stories, and this is a really salty story. Regretfully, despite our efforts, since the beginning of our association, we are the only one the only association to be left out of the annual City Council budget to support local cultural associations. Nevertheless, at the Neptune Search, we continue working, strongly believing that sharing is caring, and that's why we share our work and our passion for UCH whenever we can. And this is what we are doing now. We come across from Portugal to Greece just to be here to present in few minutes our work, and thank you for your time.